Hello. Do I have sound? I have no idea if I have sound or not. But hi everybody. Happy Friday evening live merchandise, not merchandise, live tutorial stream. Yes, I'm going to be soldering things today. I'm doing basic wire soldering, and I just printed out the most adorable cat template that I'm going to be working on today. So anybody who's out there, can you hear me? Don't make me start singing lines from Yentl to find out. And I am looking for some little, hi Lori, some little stones to go in the eyes of my kitty cat. Because I thought I had some little CZs. Oh yay, awesome. So hopefully these are the right size for the tubing that I have. Oh, there's some garnets that I think are the right size. You are too tiny. Thank you. Bye, Morty. But I think that these will work. Okay, so welcome to basic wire soldering. So the sample for this, the one that's up online, is a daisy pendant. I actually made that for a charity auction here in Dallas because one of our local private schools is Hockaday, and they are the Hocka Daisies. Did I really just lose the one? Really, Allison? Yeah, go me. I had exactly 2 stones that were going to work. Hi, Julie! And now I've lost one of them. So, maybe a one-eyed kitty cat tonight. Let's see. Or maybe a bicolor eye kitty cat. I could do that as well, I think. Do. Anyway, as usual, everybody, all of our customers for the day, not that there were many of them, came at the very end. So, stream prep time, not as generous as I would have liked it to be. It might be too big, but we'll see. Okay, so I got 2 stones. All right, so let's talk about basic wire soldering. So I like this technique a lot. Sometimes I will call it drawing with wire because you can actually take your wire and use it to make simple forms and then solder that together and then literally make that into a piece of jewelry. So like I said, I'm going to be doing the smaller of these 2 kitty cats tonight. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and cut out his adorable grumpy face, and I'm going to be doing a bit of an interpretation of it because obviously this is not a straight line drawing, but I think it's very cute. I think it's going to make a fun pendant. So cut out my little kitty cat. Thank you, Julie. You're the second person who's complimented how I look today, so I'm glad that I don't look like someone who has barely slept or eaten in, a week. So yay! By and large, the opinion is that the curls are a hit. So stay tuned next week to see if I have successfully created permanent curls on my head or if I have successfully created my very own interpretation of Stephen King's It. Just, you never know on the Beating Dreams stream what you're gonna get. Anything's possible. I could be a character from a horror movie, or I could be Julia Roberts from Pretty Woman. It's just always a crapshoot here at the Beating Dreams. So, okay, gonna need the saw in a bit, but so what I've got here is my work surface. Different mic pickup, obviously. I have no bloody clue. I should have some flavor of audio at the moment. Is it good audio or is it bad audio? Are you a good mic or a bad mic? It's frustrating that there's no, like, I get why all of the audio inputs are muted individually because there are several of them because all of the cameras have their own audio inputs. And if they're not auto muted, then you get crazy feedback and echoes. But it's really frustrating when you switch scenes and you're like, oh, no audio. Thanks, guys. But guys, I mean the software we're designers. Okay, so I've got 22 gauge wire and I've got my little kitty person here who is very cute. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to attempt to replicate the outside, and I'm going to do this with several pieces of wire. So I'm not going to try and do this with one wire. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to do one wire for the head, one wire for the body, 2 little wires for the ears. I think I'm going to add a tail because, I mean, cat without a tail is just like, what's the point? So I think I'm going to add a tail wire, like so. And then I'm going to do eyes. And I think I'm going to do eyes. I have thoughts about this tubing being... Okay, so I don't think I'm going to be able to do like cat-shaped eyes. They're going to be round eyes because they're going to be with this tubing. So we're going to see how that goes. And then I may or may not do whiskers because what you really don't want, and I mean the tail's even sort of fudging it, and what I'm probably going to do is actually bring it in a bit now that I think about it, and I'm going to anchor it to the body of the kitty cat right here. Because just having like a piece of wire just sort of hanging out like that isn't necessarily the best plan for a pendant. So I've got my 22 gauge sterling silver wire, which is having a bit of a conniption fit here, but we soldier on. And I've got my pliers. And so I'm going to try and sort of replicate this design in my wire. While I'm doing that, I just want to remind everyone that we are going to be dark tomorrow evening because Heather and I will be nerding out with all the nerdy people at the Dallas Public Library's Sci-Fi After Dark event. We are extremely excited about this, so don't harsh on our mellow. We are so sorry to desert you for it, but we're getting paid to be nerds. So on the whole, it's like an event that was tailor-made for us. So if we have the time, we will do a short IRL stream from the event so that you can see how cool it is. And there's all kinds of neat things that are supposed to be happening. There's going to be a Magic the Gathering tournament. They're going to be screening one of the Buckaroo Bonsais. They're going to be having a vendor market. That's us. They'll be having crafts. That's also us. And it seems like it's going to be a really cool, fun event. I've never been to one of these. The Perot Museum, which is our natural science museum, does kind of a similar, I think, a thing. And I've been to those, which have been loads of fun, but I've never been to one of the Dallas Public Libraries. So it's going to be a good time. Even if we don't sell anything, it's going to be a good time. But I hope we sell stuff. That would be even better. Again, nerding out is great. Getting paid to nerd out is even better. Okay, so I think you... Cat head? Nope, head. Okay, so now...
Heat.
Body. Just gonna go and make this kind of elongated pear shape, but it's gonna be flat at the bottom. So I think what I'm actually going to do to form that is I'm going to take my chain nose pliers, my cat head, and I'm going to make the bottom first. So I'm going to take my chain nose and I'm going to bend my wire up, and that ideally is going to be my little cat butt or feet, or however the cat is managing to balance itself. And then I'm just going to take my sides of my wire and bring them up and curve them a bit and just sort of manipulate them with my fingers to be the same size and shape as this drawing, which is pretty small. So, and as you know from previous wire tutorials, you have to bend your wire past where you want it to be to get it to bounce back. Now I did a little too much there because now my cat is VV small, so you know, we want less tiny cat, more medium cat. It'll work for medium cat, I think. So now what I want to do is I want to cut that off. Oh goodness. Yeah, that's never fun. Just random loud music from the internet on your phone or computer or device of choice. You're like, no, nobody wants to hear that. Yes, I love Siberian metal, just not right now. Alright, so there is my kitty torso. It's a little long. I think I'm okay with it. I think I'm okay with slightly elongated kitty torso. So now we're going to
dog kitty.
Kitty tail. That one's going to be pretty easy to do. Also, by the way, I have been having an absolutely shite day for soldering. Like, so bad. So this might be a terrible, terrible train wreck of me murdering a wire cat on stream. I just wanted to warn everyone about that before it happens.
At least it's a wire cat.
But it's been a bad soldering day for me. Julie, do you ever have terrible soldering days where you're like, this is part of my skill set. I know how to do this, and yet nothing is working.
I mean, come on, we have bad walking days. Of course we have bad soldering days.
Well, that's fair. So I'm going to make the little curly tail of the kitty tail. It starts to yowl. Oh, God. No, that would be so, oh, God, that would be so bad. I'm going to have nightmares about that, Lori. Thanks. So I'm just going to make the little kitty tail. Hi, Ace. How are you doing? How's it going? Alright, so I'm going to attempt to curve the kitty tail. A little bit of an extreme kitty curve, but you know, I think that'll work. I mean, I don't think anybody wants George Strait screaming in their ear or anywhere else for that matter. I mean, screaming people in general, just not my fave. Okay, so you can see here how, you know, I said I was going to do an interpretation of this, and that's for two reasons. Number one, I don't really want to, like, just straight up copy somebody's art. Second of all, I'm not really good at doing that. So it works out well for me. Okay, so now it's time for ears. Well, I feel like bad breathing days could be totally blamed on the atmosphere, though I straight up almost had an asthma attack carrying that banana crate today. Okay, kitty ears. So little piece of wire, bend it into a point, and look, the kitty ear. Now I need to make two of them. And I really want them to be a little bit, okay, I don't like you, kitty ear. I really want them to be a bit, ouch, sorry, still bruised, and it hurts when taking off my bracelets would probably be helpful. Okay, so I really want the kitty ear to be a little sharper. So we're gonna try something else. We're gonna try actually making it pretty large, like way larger than I need, so that I've got some grip here where I can take my pliers and I can actually squeeze that closed to get a nice sharp It's the joyful allergy cough of, but I might have the wrong mic on. So hold on. Let's do an experiment. Heather, say something.
Something.
Thank you. Now,
I mean, it's a pretty fancy cloth, not gonna lie. My allergies are awful. And I do rather sound like I'm dying sometimes.
you do. But hold on. Let me just see. So, I know, right? Julie's like, don't touch it, it's evil. Okay, Heather, say something again.
Something again.
Okay, so is that any better? Is that a more balanced audio relationship between Heather and myself? Whilst I wait for that to, Okay, so I'm louder and Heather is less loud. Well, so for the moment, we're going to go with that. Is there any feared bark? Any feedback or weirdness? Feared bark. Oh my gosh. I'm going back to making kitty ears now. Okay, well, at least for tutorial streams, I want me to be louder than Heather, because
Yes.
I'm the one. Feared bark. I'm the one. I'm the one you all should be listening to. Just saying.
Feared the bark.
I do fear the bark. I feared the bark. Okay, so that's more the kitty ear shape I was looking for. It might not look that different to most people, but it looks different enough to me. No feared bark. Got it. So now I'm going to choppy the kitty ear, and I want to make sure that I choppy the kitty ear with the flush side of my cutters. And I'm going to make a second kitty ear. Actually, technically it's a third kitty ear because I didn't like the first kitty ear that I made, but you know, y'all don't need to be so darn Pacific. Afraid of I mean,
bark.
yeah. I mean, it's feared bark and scared erection. You know, all the things. So again, I made a hi Keiko. I'm making a kitty. Yes, I'm making kitty ears right now. So there's an ear right there. And hi Keiko. So this is my second ear. So I bent it. And then I'm going to take my chain nose and I'm going to squash it. Like so. And then I'm going to open it up a bit. And then I'm going to cut that second kitty ear off. So this morning, I was trying really hard to design a clasp that didn't look like a duck. Because for some reason, every iteration of this clasp design that I've tried has looked like a duck. So, see, quack, 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 fat duck. So I had the great desk avalanche of 2023, as you know. few days ago, so I have no idea where my chain nose pliers at home are. None. And so I'm trying to design a clasp that doesn't look like a duck with like one of the mini pairs, Heather, of chain nose, like the ones that are like this big, that are really novelty pliers because they don't actually really work well for plier-y things. It was not fun. The bad news is I did not succeed. The good news is that we decided to go in a different direction. So the duck was put out of its misery. Okay, so kitty ears. Alright, and then we're going to see what I do with the eyes. I may or may not do eyes just because I feel like it could be cute to have this cat that looks like it's just wearing like giant diamond goggles, but at the same time, I feel like it also could be weird. So I'm going to put some of my wire aside and I think about eyes later. But this is my basic outline of my kitty form. So now I'm going to take this, I'm going to transfer it to my soldering board, which means I need to grab my soldering board. I know, this picture is so cute, Keiko. I stole it from the internet, but it's adorbs. There's this bigger grumpy kitty and small grumpy kitty. So all the cute grumpy kittiness. Okay, I think I'm gonna put this one on top because it's flatter. Okay, so what's gonna happen is I'm gonna transfer this over and then I'm gonna shove it in the camera because I have it zoomed in so you can actually see me soldering. So I'm just going to take all my kitty bits and I'm apparently going to dump them all on my soldering surface. So disassembled wire kitty looks like that. So this is just, first of all, obviously this is the computer telling me that I need to focus my camera, because that's really not good. But like, when you're doing something like this basic wire soldering, you know, disassembling the pattern into its component lines is how you make this happen. Yeah, nope. Whole lot of nope. Too far. All right, I think that's as focused as we're gonna get. I'm gonna zoom a little bit more. Okay. So don't try to do the thing in one whole wire line, because what happens when you do that is it's very difficult to get crisp angles. There are ways to do it, but doing it with separate wires is generally easier. Okay, so I have kitty head and kitty body, and I'm gonna cheat just a scotch. Well, that wasn't it, but I've got my seam for my kitty head right there. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put my kitty body right there as well, so that what I can do is I can actually theoretically solder those at the same time. Now, anybody who has watched a Beating Dreams soldering tutorial before, there's a big problem with this right now. Can anyone tell me what it is? Can anyone besides Heather tell me what it is?
Man.
Nope, you're DQ'd. You're not allowed. But what's the problem with this? When I go to solder it, exactly, there is a giant gap right here, right there. And there is no freaking way that's going to solder. So yes, Lori is completely correct. I need to cut down this wire here so that that gap will go away. Good job, guys. Hey, Heather, I taught them things.
Woo!
And they remembered. Weird. Not because of you guys, but because of me. Or I could tilt the head. That would be another solution. But either way, I have to close that gap. Since I'm trying to use that cute little image as my template, I'm going to go with not tilting the head overly much. Definitely not like that, because now all of a sudden we're into like hyperbole and a half cats right now. I'm going to tilt it just a fuzz because I can't for the life of me seem to get these even, but not very much. So there's my head, there's my torso. There's 2 ears, dos ears du gato. So this is what I say all the time, is that prep work is tedious and, you know, not always the most interesting either to do or to watch. But if you do your prep work well, then your soldering is going to be much, much easier. And this is where I am swiftly becoming a convert to liquid flux. I've been, as most of you know, all about the paste flux for pretty much the whole time that I've been doing this. And I still love paste flux. I will never not love paste flux. But for delicate things like this, ooh! I just remembered I got flux bottles.
Hyperbole and half.
I mean, did you see the cat? Because there was definitely a hyperbole and a half cat.
Definitely.
New tools. Borked kitty. I also love hyperbole and half. Hyperbole and half is amazing. But anyway, so I am really starting to love liquid flux for these types of projects where they take this painstaking layout and they take all this time and energy to lay out, and then, you know, if you go at them with a paste flux and you haven't thinned it down enough, then all of a sudden everything's sticking to your brush and then you want to murder everything in the face. So I'm coming around to liquid flux. I started with patterns and I hated it because I felt like it went everywhere.
I love the name Patterns though.
Well, it's a good name. But I felt like it went everywhere except for...
straight out of a Joyce Aiken novel.
I felt like it always went everywhere but where I wanted it to go, and I'm still not completely over that particular problem with liquid flux. I've just more, you know, gotten used to it and come to appreciate its other qualities. So my favorite dispensing mechanism for liquid flux are these little like 30cc squeezy bottles, and I didn't have any, which is why I've been using a paintbrush. But this is actually the least aggressive way to get flux on your piece because you're literally just dripping it on there. So now that I remembered that I have, and they make it this a really aggressive color, I think, so that nobody would try to drink it. But have they seen Mountain Dew? Because, yeah, pretty much looks like Mountain Dew. Just saying. Okay, so I'm going to move the tail. And like I said, I'm going to do all of this soldering and then I'm going to decide about the eyes. No, I did not say that you could move everything. Stop it. Alright, there we go. Okay, so there is my little kitty. So now I'm going to flux it and I'm going to cut solder. Do I have any solder over here? Of course I don't. That would be too smart. Well, shucky darns. Alright. BRB while I go get some solder. So for anybody who missed the beginning of the tutorial, this is 22 gauge wire. So this is a very fine gauge of wire. What that means when you're soldering is that it's going to melt really, really easily. So we don't want to go crazy with the density of our solder. So this is a project that is best done with easy and extra easy solder. I'm going to do easy for all of the joints, and then if I decide to do the eyes, I'll do those with extra easy also. I just realized that I haven't put any method of hanging. How am I going to hang this adorable little kitty on anything I need to do a loop? So a couple of options available for doing the loop. I could do a loop just on one ear, and little kitty would kind of hang cattywampus, but I think I'm gonna just kind of go right in between, and then it'll also kind of look like an angel kitty with a halo, so that's kind of cool too. So now I'm back to my wire. This is no longer my solder. This is back to my 22 gauge wire, and I just need to try and make a loop that's the right size to kind of balance in between the little kitty ears. Oh, I have never been a Mountain Dew person. Like, I grew up in the era of Mountain Dew, but it was just I mean, I will if you know, if I had to, I would drink a Mountain Dew, but definitely not my fave. Never has been. Hi, Corvus. How's it going? Alright, so this is gonna just go. We are making cat, except not right this second. How's everything in Cali? How's the weather? How's the Thanksgiving stuff? Don't forget, if you have giant turkeys, you need to put them in to thaw, like today, in the fridge. Alright, so that's going to be my hang loop. One of my friends always posts a very helpful chart every Thanksgiving about when do you, like, how big is your bird? When do you put it in the fridge? And yeah, if you have like a 24-pound bird, it's, yeah, it's like today. Don't forget to take the stuff, right? Well, but the thing is, Ace, you can't take the stuff out of it till after it's thawed, because all the stuff is frozen to the inside of the frickin' chicken thing, turkey, bird. Like, I have had to chip giblets and the neck out of the turkey. It is not fun. So you gotta wait till the freaking thing thaws before you can get the innards out of it. Just saying. I mean, that's fine if you put them in there, if you put them in stuffing, but the thing is, they're wrapped in paper. Or at least they typically are in the turkeys that you get in, you know, white people grocery stores. So you gotta pull them out of the turkey in order to put them back in the turkey, unless you want to just eat the paper, which, I mean, if that's you, do you. But okay, so now I'm gonna flux this whole thing. So this is my little squeezy bottle. So it disturbed my ear a little bit, but not very badly. It's so it is much less aggressive than a paintbrush, and once again, if I were paying attention, it would be even less aggressive. Carol, I'm making a kitty.
Yay! It is so cute.
Okay, so now I need, okay, so how many pieces of solder do I need for this? I need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm going to try and do those two in one, so that's 7, 8, 9, and 1 for this one. I realize that the tail has scooched away from the body a little bit, but I'm going to try and fix that while I'm soldering. So 10 counting the tail. 1, 2, 3. Well, it's not surprising since it's not currently touching. But it will. Okay, 10 pieces of solder. And let's go ahead and place those. I could pick transfer them. I'm going to pick transfer them. It's just going to be less horrifying for me. I need a solder pick, though. If I don't have a solder pick, I cannot. Haha! Success! Okay, so since I'm going to pick transfer them, I'm going to go ahead and flex all of these bits of solder as well. That's going to help them. Stick to my pick, and I'm going to go ahead and light my torch.
Fire!
Fire! Okay, so now, first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to heat this whole thing. But being careful because once again, it's going to want to melt. So I'm just going to heat it until it's a little warm, and then I'm going to start grabbing my solder. And I'm just going to ball up my solder and pick it up on my pick, like so. You can see the little solder ball on my pick, and then I'm going to pick a place on my little kitty cat to heat. And just with a really light touch, I want to just drop that solder off onto my piece. And I want to try not to do what I just did and pull it. So, alright, so that's going to be a thing. Alright. We're gonna... Okay. So we're going to drop some more solder. I may not be able to fix that. What I might have to do is cut that off and sand it. Which would be okay too. My little kitty would just have some cockamamie ears. That I can't see is not helping. Okay, so that was kind of an added bonus. Did you see that? I was just trying to drop off my solder, but instead it flowed and it bonded the insides of my ears to the head of my cat. So that was cool. Again, not expected, but a happy accident. Okay, be careful where you're aiming your torch because you got a lot of things here that are going to want to melt. So specifically this tail is looking pretty dangerous over there. Okay, so I think that's the whole head assembly. I need one on this ear, and I'm going to need to squeeze that ear down a little bit, so I'm going to need to go at that with the tweezers in a second. I'm going to do all the other easy joints first before I go to that one. Same for this one. I'm going to need to fix my contact, but I'm going to drop some solder off there to just hang out and wait for me. And here is tail joint 1. And here is tail joint 2. So my preference when I'm doing this is definitely to focus on dropping the solder and then going back and getting it to flow, because otherwise it doesn't really, it's harder to do it all at once. I mean, there are people who can do it and they are badasses, but also they are not me. Okay, so now I might need to cut a little bit more solder or find some on my board. We'll see how this goes. But now I'm going to go ahead and see what I can get to flow and where. Which means I might need my pick, I might need my tweezers. So I can concentrate on this ear here and just kind of bringing that down so that it contacts and... come on. Unfortunate. Well, now my cat is just coming apart. I told you I told you I was not having a good soldering day. I told you that this might become kitty cat carnage on stream. You were all warned, every one of you. I know, it was going so well, and now it is not going so well. Okay, so what I want to do is I'm just going to move this to a non-hot part of my surface so that I can straighten it out a little bit with my fingers, and then we're going to go try it again. Okay, so I'm just going to take this and I'm just going to bend it back so that I've got contact again with my head of my cat. And what I'm going to do is you can see that there's not a lot of contact there. So I'm just going to grab a file real quick and I'm going to flatten that part out right there. This little bit here, I'm just going to flatten that so that it seats a little bit better. And I don't have to add any more solder because there's plenty of solder on here still. So I'm going to tension fit that, like so. And then I'm going to look at this little ear issue. And that's going to require pliers, but all I really need to do is pull that in. And once again, so that there is good, firm contact in between that little ear and the head. And then the tail and the loop. So let's focus for a minute on getting these two connections in the tail, and then we'll go back to the loop. So find your light, little kitty. So there-ish. There. So we're going to grab the tail, and once again, we just want to make sure it has good contact. And I am going to reflux all of those. Hi, Tallyfet. I'm going to reflux all those places that are my problem places, just because that is going to help a little bit with the oxidation in the fire scale. Tallyfet has everything. How are you feeling? I know you were not feeling well for a while there. All right. Oh, God. The struggle is real, y'all. You're wired again, but sickness is all gone. Okay, well, so, you know, you win some, you lose some. God, I should have gotten progressives when I was the eye doctor. Because this is just bullshit. Okay, so, got that one. Now we're going to work on the ear. The ear's going to be harder because you can see, hope you can see that all the solder is actually up here. So what I need to do is I need to heat everything, but then I need to make this hotter so that the solder comes down this way. And what I'm really succeeding in doing is melting the ear, but that's okay. We have a cat who has a really strange ear, but it is attached, so we're going to go with it. Because we love all kitties equally, regardless of the shape of their ears. And then we're going to try and just attach this tail. Bam! That was perfect. That was amazing. So I need another piece of solder for this, and then we have to address this ring issue. Because that's going to be a whole other thing. So I need another 3 pieces of solder. Way to go, Bangs. So let's grab those. Hi, more people. Welcome to the Bean and Dreams Fire Friday stream. We are doing basic wire soldering, and I am making this cute little kitty cat pendant, which is loosely based on this adorable kitty cat drawing from the internet, which I really wish that I had screenshotted so that I could credit the artist. I think it might just be a stock photo, actually. But yes, it is. It's super cute. I know, right? Tiana, our kitty. I added the tail. The original drawing did not have the tail. And I may or may not do the whiskers. I may skip the whiskers on this just because too many stabby things hanging out is not the best in a piece of jewelry. So now I'm going to go back to this hanging loop. And a little bit more flux. And then we're going to place here, here, and here. We're going to see how this goes. Okay, wait. Who almost blew themselves up? Who did that and what were they trying to do? That smells bad. Did anyone catch that? Oh, nothing. Nothing happened. Nothing at all. I don't know, because you should. Totally telling the truth. Pretty sure. Okay, tail got a little weird. Okay, there. Tail attached. Now hang loop. Okay, yes, cat is together. Alright, so there's Kitty all together. I'm gonna hammer her / him just to get a little bit more sturdiness out of that wire, and then I'm gonna decide what I'm gonna do with the eyes. Thank you. It's cute. Hold on, need bench block. Oh, feet is what's your problem? Oh, hey, that's cool. And I'm knocking everything down. That's okay. So, we're going to take our kitty and we're going to move them to our bench block and we're going to hammer them. And again, that's because this is 22 gauge wire, which I picked specifically because of its delicacy, but it is a little bit, flexible. So we're just going to pound on our kitty a little bit to make him / her a little bit sturdier. Don't bash your fingers, please. Okay, so there we have our cute little sort of, scribble line kitty, which I really definitely am liking. I'm liking this kitty a lot. Like, I love the personality that, that's coming out here. So now I need to decide if I want to do eyes or not. So I'm gonna cut from my tubing a small piece, and I'm going to see if I want to do eyes, which means I need to find my saw and my saw blades. So, and I also need to scroll up to see what the heck happened. Look at the pilot on his sauna. He's a He's a fire juggler and he almost blew himself up lighting the pilot light on his sauna. Okay. Is it, well, I don't know, does it have half an ass? Because that would be Elton. This ass is starting to fill in on the right side, which they told me was going to happen, because apparently after a femoral head osteotomy, I believe is the procedure that he had, after a year or two, the cat's body will actually create a ball of scar tissue that will work like the head of the femur, which is pretty cool. And so so his half ass has started to fill in, and it's more like a 3/4 ass now. That's okay, that's fair. Did I tell everyone about the acetylene torch last night? I don't remember. I think I did.
Yes.
Okay. Then I don't need to tell them about it again. Well, and it's not, according to my research, Keiko, it's not bone, it's actual, like, just like a blob of scar tissue on the top of, his femur. But yes, he's got more like a 3/4 ass now. Okay, so I have my saw blade loaded, I have my tubing, and I'm just going to saw off a little piece so I can see if I want to do eyes. Yes, I could be using a tube holding pliers. No, I am not, because I am obstinate. Alright. So, now let's see how this looks, because I'm really not completely sure if this is actually going to look good. Oh my gosh. So, no, this is actually, there were no injuries in this situation, but just to repeat for Keiko. So, I do some consulting work on the side, and one of the things I do at that job is training and education, and that job has an acetylene torch. And so on Wednesday night, yes, the worst day ever. So on Wednesday night, I get a call from the studio of the two closers, and they are there by themselves. Everyone is left. And they're like, we can't turn off the acetylene tank. We can't get the key to move. We can't turn off the acetylene tank. And our safety protocols are every night we turn off the tank and we bleed the line. You don't have to do that, but it's all in all the safest thing to do. And I was like, okay. And I don't even remember where I was driving back from at that point. I think it was Plano. But I was like, okay, do you smell gas? No. Do you hear gas? No. Okay, as long as the handpiece is off, the torch should be fine overnight, and I'll look at it first thing in the morning. So then I get a text that says, well, we bled the line and the regular is at 0. And I'm like, okay, well, the way that this works is if the tank is open, the regular registers gas pressure in the line, and as your as you're burning fuel, the tank is feeding more fuel into the line, so your regulator will continue to register pressure. If you shut off the gas supply to the line, then this is called bleeding the line. You light the flame, and it basically uses up all the gas in the line. Your regulator pressure drops to 0. I'm going to saw another eye while I'm talking about this. So then I get a text, well, we bled the line and the regulator's at 0. And this to me says the tank is off. Like, if you just light the flame and it keeps burning, the regulator's never going to go to 0 unless the tank is off. So, oh yeah, absolutely. That'd be really fun, Keiko, for sure. So I'm like, okay, I am 99% sure that everything's fine. Just please make sure that the handpiece is turned off, and, I'll deal with it in the morning. You could, but I'll get to that in a minute. So I get in the morning, and the tank is off. They couldn't get it to turn off because it was already off. They were trying to make it more off than off. And so that was the whole problem, is they were trying to turn off something that was already off and couldn't do it, which is not surprising because it was already off. So that was an interesting conversation. It's like, well, guys, it's already off. That's why you couldn't turn it off. And then I'm like, did you try and turn it back on again? And of course they couldn't, because they had yanked so hard on the damn thing, trying to turn it off when it was already off. So anyway, that was the torch thing. So no, there were no injuries involved in that, Keiko. And since nobody noticed what I just did, we're going to go with, we are 3 days without an incident. I mean, better than the other way around, but also just, much panic for no reason. Like, guys, it was already off. Okay, so couple of questions about the little eyesies on the kitty. Well, okay, I'm sorry, like, better overly careful than the other way around, and I reject your squints, lady. But still, sometimes it's just like, guys, exercise some common sense, please. Like, you have the brain cells, you utilize them. I realize this is pot kettle situation, but whatever. So, I like the eyes. I think they're cute. I think they add to the kind of kooky aspect of the kitty cat. So, questions. Only smooth brain, right? Smooth like ham. So, question. Could you squish these with the pliers to make them more cat eye shaped? Yes, but that would make it more difficult to set stones in them. Keiko asked, could you do a mismatched eye and do just like a solid disc for this eye? And did you see what just happened? Or what happened like 2 minutes ago? Because again, if nobody saw it, it didn't happen. So yes, you could alter the shape of those, but you need to make sure that you can still set your stones in them. And you could do a mismatched eye with one stone and one tube, and that would also be cool. And what I think I'm going to do is I'm actually going to take Keiko's idea, and I'm only going to set a stone in one of the tubes, and I'm going to leave the other one empty. So it's going to be like a monocle kitty. Sorry. Okay. So we have our kitty. We have our 2 eyes. Yes, I like the round eyes. I like how they add to the kind of kooky aspect of the whole kitty. The whole kitty is a little kooky. So you need to make sure though, they won't just free float in the middle. Oh, I like that positioning. Love that. They won't just free float in the middle. So you've got to make sure that they're contacting the sides. Otherwise, you're just going to wind up with solder everywhere and nothing joined together. So when you're doing something like this, it's very important to make sure that everything's got contact. Otherwise, once again, it ain't going to work. So now we're going to flex that. And I'm going to grab 2. So it should only take me 2 pieces. A little bow tie. Okay, so one could. I am not going to tonight. But you could either cut a tiny little bow tie out of sheet metal, or you could make a little bow out of wire, or you could take like a little embroidery floss and make a completely thing. What? I am not gaslighting you. I don't even know what. No. Two. No. So what happened earlier?
The gas was turned off.
Not when I did the thing that nobody noticed, which is when I lit the torch, the flame was pointed at my finger.
Oh.
So my nail is a little bit less round now. It's been 3 days without an incident. Yeah, well, that was just a lie. I had like 2 whole days. I put my office mostly back together, except for the fact where I took all of the tiny little things that had fallen on the rug, and I just folded the rug over.
You made a beautiful poof for Elton.
Put it into the corner. We'll deal with that after Thanksgiving. But yes, it was Elton's new favorite place to sleep. So that was fun. Because I had an Elton ball. There was an Elton bun in the office and a Mamie bun in the living room, and they were very cute. They both make very cute buns. So I am going to say that Mamie makes a cuter bun than Elton. Just because of the small and the whiskers. Yes. The whisker contest. Under the rug. Well, into the rug, more like. But in a whiskers contest, Mamie definitely wins. Did not burn any fingies that time. Okay, so now we're going to solder these eyes in. If I can find the solder I just cut. There we go. Okay, so we're trying to get that to solder to this wall. There we go. Okay, so you can see the solder flow. I'm kind of a messy solderer, so, I mean, the good thing about that when teaching is it's easier, I think, to see my solder flow because I use a lot of it. Many jewelers would tell you that I use too much solder, and they wouldn't necessarily be wrong. But this is what works for me, so this is what I do. There we go. Okay, 2 eyes, both soldered to the sides of the kitty head. And then I want to try and get this off before it sticks. There we go. Oh, goodness. Was it an in-person neurology appointment or was it a tele-neurology appointment? I was curious about that. Like, did you actually walk into a wall in front of the neurologist? Okay, so now we need to let the kitty cool down. In person. Okay, so now we are going to set a stone into our little kooky kitty face here. So we're going to do a tube setting. So the first thing I'm going to do is I want to take my file and I just want to even out my tubes. I could do this with an emery board or a piece of sandpaper as well, but I'm just going to, I'm going to use my bench block. I'm just going to put that down flat, and I'm going to just file those so that they're even. Yeah, that's a rough one. But, you know, okay. So you can see that wasn't a big thing. Just, you know, wanted to level. That was my brain taking the word level and even and smooshing them together. So I just wanted to even everything out. So now I'm going to grab my Dremel, and I'm going to put in a 3 millimeter setting burr. Okay, and I need something to put this on that's not my bench block. I don't want to drive my setting burr into my bench block because it's not going to do any good for either of those things. All right, so am I giving the kitty a sparkly right eye or left eye? We're going to do left eye. See how that goes. All right, so turn it on. And what we're going to do is we're going to take that setting burr. I'm just going to burr out this left eye. So what I just did is I just used my setting burr to burr out a seat for my stone. My stone's not very big, so it doesn't have to be very deep. Also, my setting's not very deep. So you just want to make sure that there's enough for your stone to set down in there and for you to have enough to push over the top. Yay! Keiko said left eye. I did receive that psychically. Okay, so now let's see if these stones I picked are too small or not. And also, how has one of them gone missing? They've been sitting in a dish. Excuse me. Well, that was a whole thing that happened. Let's see if this fits in here. So you want it to sit. Hold on. Yes, I think that's good. You want it to sit in there and not fall through. Okay, so we want to make sure that it sits down far enough in that setting that you can press that edge over to actually physically enclose the stone, but you want to make sure obviously that it doesn't fall through the setting. So this one's actually doing good. Lisa Lefty here is all bueno. Awesome, Corvus. What does she want on hers and what size does she want? That's a graver, that's a pusher. So I like to do this with a prong pusher. You can do it with a bezel rocker. You could do it with a hammer tool. There's a lot of ways you can set this stone. I'm going to use just my regular old prong pusher because that's my favorite tool. And once again, sorry, I gotta take off the glasses. So I just want to, oh no, stay flat, thank you. And it's poking out the back a little bit. So I'm gonna utilize this. This is the stand from one of those IKEA like armature people, and I'm gonna utilize the hole in the center of it to help hold this for me. I push my bezel over to hold my stone in. Maybe see? We can see quartz, sort of. Oh, no, 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 no. Nobody likes you. Don't do that. So if it pops out, no big deal. One of the easiest ways to get it back in if it pops out is to put it on whatever you're using to set upside down, and then take your setting and just press it on top of that stone. And if you're lucky, that stone will kind of pop back into that setting. And I think I'm actually going to switch to my bench block. Well, that failed utterly. I'm going to lose this stone, and I am going to be pissed. Okay, so it's partly set, so I'm just going to continue setting it. Okay, so the problem here is the stone is just a little too small. So I could noodle with this, and I'm sure I could make it work, but I'm going to see. Okay, so Keiko's question that I just saw is, since I'm placing a stone right now, can I or can I not tumble polish this? And the answer is, it depends on the stone that I place. There are definitely plenty of stones that can handle tumble polishing. I'm going to try a white topaz next. We can see how that goes. So as long as it's a stone that can handle the tumble polishing, then yes, I can throw it in the tumbler after the fact. If I have any doubts at all about the stone's ability to handle being in the tumbler, then no. Then you want to tumble it first and then put the stone in after. But since I am fairly confident that the stone I am setting, whenever the hell I finally manage to set a stone, will be okay in the tumbler, then it doesn't matter. Then I'll just go ahead and tumble it. But again, if you have any doubts at all that your stone is not going to survive the tumbler, do not do it. And then just, kind of as a general rule of thumb, no soft stones, no opals, no emeralds, no tanzanite. Oh, that stone's giant, huge. Okay, this is going to take a hot minute. So, yeah, no opals, no tanzanite, no turquoise, no pearls, etc. And, yes, we can definitely send you stickers. Corvus needs Beating Dreams stickers. Sorry, y'all. I know this is a lot of looking at the top of my head. But that garnet was a little too small. The orange sapphire I grabbed was a little too big. So now I've got a little blue sapphire. Which is also too big. Hold on. There might be another problem here. Okay, I think that this little baby is gonna work. So the cool thing about metal is it's ductile, which means it stretches a bit, which means that there is a certain amount of fudge factor. It's small. Like, if you're talking normal people measurements, it's infinitely tiny, but there is a certain amount of fudge factor. So what I was able to do was take my pliers, since I know my sapphire is a fairly sturdy stone, and I was able actually to kind of squeeze it into my setting, even though it was just a fuzz too small. So now hopefully I can throw this on here and I can finish setting the stone and be done with this tutorial for the night. So let's go for it, shall we? So your goal is you want to take the bezel, you want to roll it over the stone. So it's physically holding the stone in by the fact that it is smaller at the top than it is on the main part of it. There we go. So we're just gonna take that baby and we're just gonna finish pressing that bezel over to hold it in. And again, like size of stone, oftentimes it's a Goldilocks problem when you're using something like a pre-made tubing. If you're not buying calibrated gemstones and you just do like me and buy like remaindered parcels, you know, just because it says it's 3mm doesn't mean it's actually 3mm. It could be anywhere between 3mm and 3.25mm. And once again, that seems like in most people's world, I swear to God, that sapphire just fell out again. In most people's worlds, a 0.25mm is like nothing. But in the world of stones, it is huge, enormous. It really is. So sometimes you gotta mess with it. You gotta work it. You gotta zhuzh it. You know, take your pick of verb there. But the important thing is that the stone is in there. Okay, that's the important thing. You do not want your stone to be falling out. Even if that means you have to change from your original stone, you still want to make sure it's in there securely. And I'm guessing my head's in the way, but that's just kind of how it's going to be right now. What's up?
It's your big bag. Sorry. That's amazing. Thank you. I bet even your resculpted fingernail thinks so.
Yes. Alright, are you in there? I think you're in there. I'm going to put it in the tumbler. I'll find out pretty quickly if it's actually in there or not, because if it's not, it's going to fall out in the tumbler. But for now, this is my little kitty. Okay, so to answer Keiko's question, emeralds and sapphires are not in the same family. They are not the same mineral. You probably think of that because your definition, typically the stones that are qualified as precious are ruby, sapphire, diamond, emerald, and tanzanite. So ruby and sapphire are the same mineral in different colors. Emerald is actually the same mineral as aquamarine, heliodor, morganite. So emerald is a beryl, and then diamond, of course, is is diamond and tanzanite is tanzanite, but rubies and emeralds are not related. Rubies and sapphires are related. So yes, I did one shiny eye. I have a little shiny monocle kitty. So I'm going to throw shiny monocle kitty in the tumbler. We're going to see how he polishes up, and I will post a picture on Discord when he is done. So that is it for our basic wire soldering tutorial this Friday evening. Thank you all so much for joining us. Thank you 10 viewers for hanging out with us through all the way through the end of the stream. That's awesome of you. And just a reminder, because we got more viewers now than last time I mentioned it, we are going to be dark tomorrow because Heather and I are going to the Dallas Public Library to work their sci-fi after dark night. Thank you, Corvus. Oh no, the microphone did the thing again. Ugh. That's all I have to say about that. The muty thing? Still muted? Ugh. I screw all the technology right now. But just a reminder, tomorrow night we are going to be dark because Heather and I are going to the Dallas Public Library to do their sci-fi after dark event, so we get to go. Okay, well, I'm just going to be quieter for now and I'll fix it next stream. But that means that we will not see you tomorrow, which would have been Zoom, so I'm sorry because we would have actually seen you tomorrow, which would have been really cool. But don't forget, we will be back on this channel, twitch.tv/beatingdream. Next week we have just sales, no tutorials. So get ready to spend some post-Thanksgiving money on, I think, Friday and Saturday. We're going to have online sales. So everyone have a great night. Oh boy. And I will see you back on this channel, twitch.tv/beatingdream, after Thanksgiving for some awesome merchandise sales. So everyone have a great night. If you celebrate, have a happy Thanksgiving. If you don't celebrate, have a great day and a great week, and I'll see y'all next week. Okay, bye!